Hello everyone, my name is Omri Levi. I live now in Berlin. I moved here from Tel Aviv 2 years ago, and I will be talking to you a little bit about engineering management. So the first question was to tell you a little bit about my journey of becoming an engineering manager. So my journey starts actually a long time before my first role as a developer. Before I was in engineering, I was working with kids, with youth in the field of education. And there I was a manager of guides and counselors, and I was in charge of a big activity of a lot of kids. And the reason I choose this as the starting point of my journey towards engineering management is because I believe that most of the skills are transferable. Being a manager is caring about stuff, is having a lot of problems, which some of them are not related completely to you. It's about looking forward, talking to people, building a roadmap, caring mostly. And that's why I think that my journey of being an engineering manager starts with acquiring basic management skills. After that, I started being a developer. I've worked at different companies. Some of them are very small and some of them are big, like Microsoft. And after a few years, I got the opportunity in one of the companies to become a lead. The team that I was working at for a year and a half as a developer needed a lead now, and I transitioned inside the team. There are some advantages coming with that and some disadvantages. So one of the biggest advantages is that you already know the code, you know the problems, you know the history, you know why things the way they are, you know the people, what to expect, you know what's the future going to be because you were there when we were thinking about it. But one of the problems is actually to transfer your position with your colleagues. So I was their friend, I was their peer, we were working together, and all of a sudden they have to report to me. That kind of challenges our relationship. Another big issue in transitioning inside your team is that one of the most important things for a manager is to be critical towards the work that's being done. But since I wrote most of the code and I own the code base, being critical was very, very difficult because I was pretty much emotionally involved with what's happening. Having said that, the transition was very, very good. I got to continue what I was doing just from a different perspective, not as a developer, but as a manager. I got to learn from higher management how things are being done. I got to shine in a different way in the company that I was working at. And I think it was a very, very good first step towards engineering management. Now, what's my favorite technology? Well, that's a very good question. I basically enjoy all type of technologies. I write 4 languages almost on a daily basis. I have my AWS account, my Azure account, and I really, really enjoy of seeing how different technologies complement each other. In the past couple of years, I really try to do a lot in serverless computing because I found this field very, very interesting. First, because of the potential. Serverless computing promises us elegancy and simplicity, endless resources, and very, very cost effective since we are sharing and only paying for what we use. On the other hand, this is pretty much an uncharted territory, very immature. A lot of the features that we need are not yet invented, best practices are not really written, and a lot of the stuff that we want to do, we don't really know yet how to do them with serverless computing. And that's why it's fascinating in my opinion, because it's always nice to invent and to explore new territories. What advice would I give to a young developer aspiring to become an engineering manager? So 2 things. First, I will ask you, is that really what you want to do? Because if you're looking to move forward to advance as an engineer, then being a manager is not necessarily the right way for you because I already said at the beginning, it's a lot about management and not necessarily a lot about engineering. But if you chose to do that and that's really your passion, I would advise you to look at it like a profession. Like you wouldn't jump into deep water before you learn how to swim. You wouldn't take your first work as a developer before you really know how to program. Then you shouldn't be a manager before you experience it a bit. So try to look around you and find a good manager that could mentor you and you can learn stuff from, or pick your next role according to where there is a good manager you could work with. And then try to take small tasks. Try to your manager to delegate some things for you to do. Take a project end to end, be responsible for some process, talk to the people a bit more, and try to see how it's working for you, learn, and get feedback for what you did. And after you have some experience and some confidence, then you can decide what's going to be for your next role. And lastly, what's my biggest achievement in my career? Well, if I need to pick one, I would say it's about the last team that I led. When I first arrived, the team was a huge mess because it started the wrong way. There was no leadership before me. There was no process. There was a lot of frustration and stress. And 2 months after, a new guy joined to the team. 2 months after I arrived. And after the first week, he told me, look, I know the team is already in order and everyone knows what to do and we have processes and everything is sorted out. Can I just make one suggestion? And then what I told him is that if someone told me 2 months ago that in 2 months someone new will join and look at the team and look at like perfect, everything is working, I would think that it was crazy. But being able to sort the team and being able to be very professional with them, I think it's a very nice achievement that I'm really proud of. So thank you for listening and for staying with me until now. Please feel free to connect on LinkedIn, to follow on GitHub, to look at my Medium publications, and looking forward to hear from you. Thanks.